outline for this evening, what we're going to be doing is really just looking at what we're actually going to be doing tonight, going through these 4 most powerful foundation principles of self-healing. They're really the crux of everything that I do, and my intention tonight is to actually teach them to you, help you to understand them and play with them, and then when I turn the recording off in about 15 to 30 minutes, I'm actually going to be taking you through these processes so that you can experience a heart healing shift tonight. So just a bit of a raise of a hand if that sounds a little bit fun and exciting. You all don't really know what that's going to be, so you're all feeling incredibly apprehensive, you're scared, you're nervous, but you're intrigued and excited. So if that's how you're feeling, that's really, really normal and natural. So I had a bit of an epiphany. My epiphany was that it's actually been 10 years since I had my massive breakdown. I was at a point in my life where everything was meant to be going really well, but I just encountered this emotional volatility that I actually didn't know how to describe to other people. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me. And over the course of a few weeks, a boyfriend broke up with me. I had a bad phone call with my mum where we decided to stop speaking together. And I just didn't know how to handle what felt like the dam being stripped apart and a flood of emotion just rushing into my world. It was unavoidable. It was undeniable, but I didn't know what the hell was happening. Over the next 2-week period, from profuse crying, I had to quit my job. I couldn't even show up. I was doing some work helping people to release weight at that time in my career, and I was meant to be talking personally about their feelings. I had no capacity whatsoever to talk about their feelings because I was a freaking mess. And I remember just talking to a few people, and I remember their horror as they felt my powerlessness. And it just amplified mine. And if you've ever been in a place like this in your life, if you're actually brave enough to friggin' share it, it's so scary to see the reaction. So just nod your head if you know what I'm talking about. When you're really feeling volatile and down and scared, and you bring it forward, and then they freaking freak out. And you go, oh, bloody hell, what am I meant to do now? So I just really want to normalize these things. The first thing I really want to share with you is that I see you as being incredibly gifted. I hold myself. Oh, I'm just reading some more messages. I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Sharing with me that someone just felt they had nothing more to give at the end of last year. That's totally it. You're burnt out, you're wasted, but you're confused about life. The way that you've been going about things, it just seems like it's not working anymore. What's the purpose of going through all these motions? Now, I would really honor all of you as being incredibly gifted sensitives. Being sensitive, being very in touch with your feelings is something that feels like a curse, but I really think it's part of our calling. And I think that the word intuitive is becoming more prominent these days. You're probably realizing that you're getting promptings and guidance from within your tummy, or you just kind of sense or feel something. But there's another more important word for us tonight. Wow, cool. Thank you for sharing with me. I'm loving hearing what you're sharing with me. I just was like, how am I going to connect with them if I'm recording? I don't want them to share stuff, but you're just telling me. I love it. I love it. The most important word for you to look at, if you haven't heard this word before, is an empath. Now, being empathic, I really feel within myself that this is the era, the rise of the empaths. What does it mean to be empathic? This is not about having empathy for another person's situation. That word is related, but it's not actually the one that we're discussing here. Being an empath or being empathic is where you will literally and physically feel the emotions from another person within your own body. Raise your hand if you know you have felt somebody else's feelings in your own body. Okay, you are an empath. Okay, this is good news. Trust me, it's good news. Hold on. Because what is like hell is that you don't actually know what you're feeling and what someone else is feeling. So welcome, Kimmy, to the call. Holly, welcome to the call. Who else do we have just joined us? So what we can do is, if you can see, there's a bottom left-hand little button that's a mute, and what it will do is, while I'm sharing this first part of the presentation, it will mute all of the background noise that's, you know, just, oh, look, you're already so onto it. Fabulous. Okay. Okay, it's the rise of the empath. So who, just raise of hands if you knew you were an empath, if you've heard the word before and you knew you were. Someone's just saying to me, OMG, that has been all my life. Welcome to a sisterhood where we get you, okay? Now, okay. It honestly feels like a curse, and the reason why it feels like a curse to be empathic is because you don't know how to distinguish your feelings from someone else's feelings. Empaths typically struggle with overwhelm. They definitely struggle with boundaries, because the only way that we know how to feel good is to hang out with people that feel good, or, which is rare, yeah? How many people out there are just feeling good all the time? So the other thing that we do is, you are all incredibly gifted at loving and caring for other people. So you go around and you make everyone else feel good. Raise of hands, who's doing it like Lysa? Doing it like Lysa, yeah. And I just want to honor you. Like, honestly, the intuitive empaths, or women that are drawn to me and my work, have the biggest hearts. And I just so honor you, because I think more than anyone else, I just want you to know that I know what you have put yourself through to reach out to someone else. I really want to let you know that, yeah, someone has said, I finally get, well, I've spent my whole life mothering other people. That's exactly what I did. We try to help everyone else feel better, because deep down, we hope and we believe, oh, sorry, I can't not get emotional, that if we help enough other people to feel good, that we'll finally be able to feel good within ourselves. You know, when I was 22, and I had about 150 friends. Oh man, I worked in a job where I was helping other people. Say I saw 20 people a day. I went to church and would freaking help everyone there as well, as you do. There's lots of crafty ways that you find more people to help. Who knows what I'm talking about? Find more people. Find more people. And when they don't get it, it's not reciprocated. It's heartbreaking. Yes, it is so, so heartbreaking. A lady that I have been coaching has realized that while she has run around trying to help everyone else to feel good, she had no idea how to actually make herself feel good. And that was my breakdown. I'm like, screw this. What the hell am I doing? Burning out, trying to help everyone else. No one is listening to me. No one gives a crap about how I feel. And no one actually knows who I really am. And I was so over it and so exhausted and depleted. I was like, I'm out of here. I quit my job. I had a few grand in the bank. Bless me for saving. And I was out of there. It was probably about a 6-week period between quitting my job and just hightailing it up to Cairns, the furthest place I could get away from where I was in Brisbane at the time. And I spoke Japanese fluently, so I knew there were heaps of Japanese speaking jobs, and I could just fluff through in some superficial role where I didn't have to care about anyone, and that was my agenda. But here's what happened. Because you are all so in tune with your feelings, you literally can't run away from them, and it's hell. So you try to run away from your feelings by helping other people. That feels good to a degree and for a time. But once you start realizing that you're literally dependent on helping other people to feel good in order to feel good for yourself, it's not a good place. Hey, just shake your head with me. No, that is not a good place. Oh, can you all see each other? Like, I'm basking in your beauty. Can everyone see each other? Just nod for me. Yeah? Cool. I've got another thing I want to share. 2 things. My only way I've been able to protect myself from taking on the emotions of others is to distance myself. Heartbreaking and tiring. So we try to lock ourselves away. We all have our own little version of a dungeon, and we just try to block everyone out. Another sharing, that's exactly how I'm feeling at the moment. I just want to walk away from everything. So this is really, really special and sacred to me, because in my life, the most rich and valuable part of my life is that everywhere I go, everyone tells me the truth. everyone opens their hearts to me and they tell me exactly what's going on, I think people just know I can take it. I think people just know I get it and I can receive them. Tonight, just hearing what you're sharing with me in the private messages, and we're going to actually, if anyone wants to talk with me later, when we've stopped filming, there's going to be space for that as well. Boom. Right. So we are gifted empaths. We are highly sensitive. We are deeply connected with our feelings and cannot escape them. Bugger, eh? Bugger. So here's why it's the empaths that are called to healing. Empaths are called to heal because you can't survive unless you heal. And what's so powerful is that I could have annihilated myself, or I could have chosen to figure out how to heal. I chose the latter, score, and I'm really, really grateful that I did. And I know that a lot of you have actually read the book. Can I just have one hand if you have read a portion of the book or all of the book? How many people have? Cool. Anyone that doesn't have the book on this call, email me after. Oh, beautiful. Someone's read all the book. And I'll just gift you with the ebook. I love gifting that sucker because that was so much suffering to figure all of that out. Here's the good news. You're a gifted empath. You can't escape your own feelings. And you've realized that you can't actually feel good by helping other people feel good first. So what the hell do you do? For one, you need to be able to be alone with yourself and your own feelings. That means that you don't have to distance yourself from everyone else, although that's supportive. And you don't have to quit everything, although that's what I felt I needed to do. So I always remind everyone that I'm serving that it's really a matter of trusting yourself to know what is right for you. You have to be able to self-honor yourself through this process, because that's, if we can't trust ourselves, we can't keep going. So trust yourself to know what's right for you. But what's really powerful is that I have learned to love every single one of my feelings, and I have the capacity to be with anything that I'm feeling, to receive it, acknowledge it. And I have had a bit of a freebie that I've been giving out for a while now called the 3 steps to nurture your feelings. And in that, I share how just naming your feeling and accepting your feeling will actually cause it to soften. Raise of hands who has experienced this with me. My one-on-one clients get taught this. Who has named a feeling and felt it soften and diminish in its emotional impact? Cool. So this might be valuable for you right now. What I love doing is supporting women to connect deeply with themselves. So I want you to place both of your hands on your tummy. Yes, our tummy is actually the area where our feelings reside, and this is why I was a chronic compulsive overeater and binge eater, because I didn't know what the hell was going on in my tummy, and I hoped it was hunger, and it wasn't. But place your hands on your tummy. And close your eyes if you want. Keep them open if you prefer. And feel in to the sensations and the movement. Feel what's there as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. If you can take just a short moment to become really present with what is happening within your inner world, maybe even just type to me. If you can name one of the feelings you can sense within yourself right now, type in and tell me. Take a moment, feel the sensations. And if you know what it is, come ahead and tell me. Tell me what you're feeling right now. Beautiful, lovely. Fear, contentment, anxiety, stress, gratitude, joyless, blocked, overwhelm, joy, apprehensive. This is magic. Now, pay close attention. When you actually acknowledged what you were feeling, did you notice the sensations soften and diminish? Just raise of hands if you could feel that. Did you feel it soften as you just brought awareness to it? Okay, this is the most powerful step that I really just want to support you with from the very beginning. Whatever you are feeling, you bathe in your feelings on a daily basis. You can't avoid them. A lot of us have some unsupportive strategies to be able to avoid them. I work with anything from, using food, using alcohol, gambling, sex, doesn't really matter. There's lots of ways that we can try to avoid our feelings. No matter what we do, they're going to keep surfacing. So if you can even focus for the next week on just naming your feeling and bringing awareness to it, it will soften. And it's so, I think it's just so inspiring that you can really start to realize that getting more in touch with your feelings will actually cause them to soften, and it's going to take you out of some of that intense volatility, which is my intention for you all. Awesome. So here's what we know. Recapping, we are gifted empaths. We love helping, but really the only person that you can ever truly help is yourself. And as a heart coach and heart healer, what my role is to actually guide women back to themselves. I was called in to become my own master self-nurturer. Not being able to have a lot of affection or nurture or emotional security in my upbringing called me into my power very early. And I was absolutely forced to learn how to self-nurture, how to self-mother, and how to receive myself emotionally. That's become my strength. And I hope that you can feel it, because it's something that not a great deal of people that I come in contact with have, because we don't know how to receive ourselves emotionally. Let's get into the good stuff though. Heart healing. What I love is that a lot of you have watched a lot of my YouTube training, you've read the book, and Heart Healing 101 is that the misperceptions that we form of ourselves over our life experiences, the misperceptions are actually lies. They're non-truth about who we are. I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy, and I'm undeserving are the top 3 that I find in every person that I've ever worked with. Hundreds of women now over the last 7 years have all shared with me one of those. I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy, I'm undeserving. I promise you, every person walking on this planet is wounded and has misperceptions of who they are based on past experiences. Everyone hates looking in the past and going back there. But what I know is that it wasn't what happened to us that wounded us. It was what we made it mean, okay? So my family was full of conflict. My father is very up and down, manic depressive, bipolar, and my mother wasn't. She would just go on lockdown. She would go into self-protection and become like a brick wall. So there wasn't really anyone there. So I'm just reading some of your messages. I totally love that, Lisa. Cool, let me just read. Bringing women back to themselves, that's what I want and I need to do after such a grueling, disconnecting time owning the shop, owning her work. Wow, cool. Unworthy, definitely. Wow. Oh, I love hearing from you. Sorry, I'm like wanting to connect and wanting to read. I love being a bit split here. So, being in that environment of intense emotional turmoil, what I made that mean is that I'm unlovable. Obviously, if my parents are fighting, they can't love me. Because as an empath, you will know that when there are other people around you that are feeling emotionally wounded, scared, afraid, angry, irate, rageful, you can feel their emotional pain and their feelings within your own body. And it's so hideous. What we want to do is we want to figure out how we're the problem, because if we can fix ourselves, we can resolve the whole thing. So it's a little bit of misdirection. But at the beginning of my book, Heart Healing, I talk about the Golden Buddha, that there was a gorgeous golden statue, meters high, and the Burmese army were coming. And the monks were peace-loving people, knew that they would be destroyed, and so they covered it in clay, 6 inches of clay, and they were all killed. And about 100 years later, what was so powerful is that they needed to move the structure to put in a highway. And when they did up all of the tests for physics, they tried to crank it up with the crane, and it was just too heavy. They did their measurements based on clay, and it was not made of clay. And that night, as they called in bigger cranes to haul this larger than they were expecting clay Buddha, a monk went out to check that this sacred relic was safe and protected, stuck in the hoist, hovering above the ground, and shone the light into a crack. and saw a glimmer back. And I honor the courage that that monk showed to actually chip away at that clay to reveal the gold beneath. It's my honest belief, and this is for you to hear, but please think about whether this is true or not for you. I believe that we all come here and forget who we are. I totally forgot who I am. And I believed I was unlovable. I was disgusting. No one would ever love me. No one would ever want to make love to me. And no one would ever want to stay with me because my parents separated frequently. And what is the main point about the power of emotions and the power of heart pain is that when you feel pain in your heart, in your body, that's literally how you know that you are telling yourself a lie. Who knows that? I know my clients know that. Who else? Yeah, I'm hearing you. Welcome, Claudine. Hello, darling. It's so lovely to have you with us. If you would like to, do you want to click? Can you hear me, Claudine? No, that would be no. So, someone's just sharing, you can't drown your sorrows in love. Embrace love. Can you hear me, beautiful Claudine? Let me type to Claudine and see if I can. So while I'm doing this, have a little bit of a think about any heart pain that has been surfacing for you over the last kind of 5 to 7 days. Have a little bit of a think if there's anything that has surfaced that's been emotionally uncomfortable or difficult for you to be with. See if you can name that feeling. Maybe the last 3 days, last 7 days. Oh, she's typing. That's the sound of typing. Okay. 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 I'm going to keep going. And hopefully Claudine gets my message and finds it. So someone has shared with me that they have really come aware of the feeling uncertainty and fear. Wonderful to recognize. It's so, so powerful to be able to spot it. So over my lifetime, being so sensitive and so emotional and absolutely being incapable of avoiding, denying, or suppressing my feelings, I tried many, many ways. I know all the strategies in the book, and I played with them for about a good decade, so I was very profuse in self-sabotage and self-manipulation. Thank you so much, Claudine. Look, I love it. I love this message function. It's magical. And so what we're going to be doing in this very next section is practicing the 4 skills. If you have a pen and paper and you want to get this down, you can write it down or you can just hear me. The first step to be able to self-heal emotionally is to actually name the feeling, name that emotion. We've already spoken into it and you're already good at it, so you're on a roll. Name the emotion, name the feeling. Okay. Once you can do that, once you know what that feeling is, I want you to see the pattern. Now let me describe this a little bit more. And if everyone would like to participate, we're actually going to do this together when I stop filming. Okay, so say I found anger within myself and I was really uncomfortable with that feeling. I would want to look back over the last 6 months and go, how frequently am I getting really angry, really irate, or full of rage? And then I would be thinking, over the last year, over the last 3 years, how frequently am I getting angry? Think about this. How frequently am I getting sad, despondent, frightened, anxious? What's really powerful is that there will be a pattern where this one feeling will be consistently surfacing. Ooh, let me read what this says. Unlovable, yes, believing she was unlovable. My own childhood was similar to yours. I can remember I've taken on a lot of on my shoulders, the emotional burdens from everyone and anyone, yes, especially my family. Yeah, we're all relating. I'm just so grateful that you guys feel so safe with me to open your hearts and share, because it's just so overwhelming when you think that you're the only one. I love that more people are joining the call as we go on. It's fantastic. See the pattern. Do you get what I mean? It just keeps coming up. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. That one feeling keeps, oh, of course you do. Oh, I honor you. Yes, yes. I love hearing from you, Sarah. I love it. It's magical. Okay, boom. Here's what's cool. Your pattern is actually a roadmap to go back to where your wound was forged. This is good freaking news. Let me talk you through it. When I think of a pattern, I just think of a cycle. It's just going and going and going and going. So for me, it was anxiety. That's the one I can really remember clearly. When that boyfriend, when the fifth freaking boyfriend broke up with me for the same freaking reason, I hardly even liked him. I hadn't even kissed him yet. And I was devastated, but I felt incredibly anxious. That was really interesting, and I remember that that same feeling was present when every other boyfriend had broken up with me, and I remember being absolutely petrified that I was being left. And I got curious to realize that the feeling I felt with this boyfriend I'd only been with for a few weeks, hadn't even kissed him, didn't even really like him, when he said it's over, I was devastated. I fell into anxiety, and then I remembered that I felt the same way with the previous boyfriend. And then I remembered that I felt the same way with the previous boyfriend. And I thought, this is fascinating. How come different men, different situations, different circumstances, and I'm feeling the same pain, you know? And it's like seeing that little white rabbit's tail, like on Alice in Wonderland. I'm like, this is freaking curious. I'm going to follow this. I followed that white rabbit's tail right back to being a little girl. Under 5, my parents separated more than half a dozen times. And then after then, it was less frequent and it was more emotionally climatic. But as a little girl, my parents separated frequently. So what did I tell myself? I'm not worth staying with. That's what I told myself. Now, here's what's cool. I'm not worth staying with. That's what I made it mean. It wasn't that my parents separated frequently. It was that I told myself that I'm not worth staying with, and that's why it's happening. Logically, you guys are all listening to this going, that is not true. Lysa is lovable and everyone would want to stay with her, but it's not about that. It's about when we're little, there's so much that we don't understand. We're so vulnerable and powerless, and we want to understand. So we'll just make it up. They're separated so many times because I'm not worth staying with. Now, my pattern of anxiety took me back to that idea. When I would speak that idea to myself, my heart would ache in the exact same way. This is good freaking news. Like, nod your head if this is good news. What someone said. Yep, I decided that he will always leave. It's inevitable. Don't risk loving too much. I hear you. Boom. Okay. Sorry, I get so excited because we are on the path to liberation. If you can follow the pattern of your feeling straight back to earliest memory, whatever you get, whether that's 21, 17, 3, in the womb, do you know what I mean? If you can go back to what you told yourself that meant, whatever memory you find yourself in where that exact same painful feeling is, draw out, and this is the belief, or this is the lie, as I call it, or misperception. Now, the reason how we're going to know if it's a lie is that when we say it to ourselves again now, today, and we say, I'm not worth staying with, if you feel heartache within, that is your own soul or spirit helping you know you are out of alignment with your truth. Sorry, this is huge. So, what if our feelings were actually communication from our own soul or spirit? What if the only way that your own soul or spirit, who always knows who it is, what if the only way it could communicate that you were telling yourself a lie was to send you a sensation of emotional pain? What would that mean? Nod your head if you think that's cool. I love seeing the nodding. Yes, it is incredible. Thank God someone said it, because that's exactly how I'm feeling. This is incredible, ladies. I haphazardly found this out 10 years ago, and it has totally changed my life, because the next step is what's powerful. If you can find out your lies, I know that you ladies have already done a lot of work. You've already done a lot of healing because your pain has necessitated it. The last step is to receive the truth. And this is where I draw in women who are always deeply connected to either their inner wisdom or a higher power. I really don't care who you know you can call on. All I care is that you know you can call on someone. Because I promise you, I was clay. There was no gold here. No freaking gold. It was all clay. And I had completely forgotten who I was. And it was only because my parents were so, bless them, unreliable when I was a little girl that I actually began praying really profusely from the time I was quite young, that I actually said, I just think I'm not worth staying with. And I prayed, and I was reassured that that is not the case. And I felt the comfort of truth fill my heart to reassure me that I was lovable and that I was love. Now that is just my healing experience. And these 4 steps are what I'm going to stop the recording in just a few minutes, and we're going to play. We're going to have a little bit of fun. So these are the steps, and I'm going to stop the recording now so that you can interact with me and talk with me if you'd like. So farewell.